Hello and welcome to the video. In this video, I'm going to be discussing a question from complex numbers. This question was made for IBDP students. Let's understand the question. The question talks about a complex number, and he says that the modulus of the complex number is less than the real part of the complex number plus the imaginary part of the complex number. With just these two information, he wants us to plot or sketch the region representing the possible values of z. Let's understand this. Let's take the complex number as z, and I've taken the complex number as z is equal to x plus iy. So we know that mod of z is simply root of x square plus y square. What I'm also saying here is that root of x square plus y square is less than x plus y. If I look at this question and try to solve it further, I will probably be squaring it on both sides. So I'll have x square plus y square is equal to x plus y the whole square. So I have applied a plus b the whole square formula on the RHS. So we know that x square and y square will get cancelled. So what I'll now remain with is 0 less than or equal to 2xy, which means 2xy is greater than or equal to 0, or xy is greater than or equal to 0. Now there are a couple of possibilities here. If the product of two numbers is positive, then x is positive, y is also positive. That's one of the options. The other option is that x is negative and y is also negative. All right. Now, if I wanted to plot this, this will fall in the first quadrant and this would fall in the third quadrant. However, there is one piece of information that we are missing out. What he's also telling us is that the real part of z and the imaginary part of z, the real part of z and the imaginary part of z is positive. Now, how do I know that? We know that root of any number has to be a positive value, and we know that mod of a complex number is going to be a positive value. And therefore, in a way, he has given us two equations over here. One is this, and the other equation that he has given us is x plus y is greater than or equal to root of x square plus y square, which would simply mean that x plus y is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, great. So I have two situations here. One is that x is positive, y is also positive, x is negative, y is also going to be negative. So a couple of ways of to look at this. I can say x is greater than minus y, and then I'm going to be stuck. What I can rather do is to say that the sum of the two numbers, is positive, and the product of the numbers is also positive. What does this imply? This simply implies that x has to be greater than or equal to 0 and y also has to be greater than or equal to 0. And when is that going to happen? And that simply means that this is falling in the first quadrant. So if I had to plot this on the diagram, I would go ahead and shade this entire region to indicate that any value in this region is going to be satisfying the condition given to us. And this is a 4-marker question. Well, again, the question is very, very simple, but if you did not know that the second condition also needs to be considered, this would be a difficult question to solve. Thank you for your patience. That's it for this video. Goodbye.